We are not the 9:30 news. We're so exclusive that we only come on once a week. Believing us is like believing crocodiles make good pets. Contrary to popular belief, any similarities to actual people or events are purely coincidental. And now, the news.
The headlines. Eat, drink, and pick up a new language at your neighborhood coffee shop. A ban on Singlish leaves Singaporeans speechless. Singapore Talking gives birth to a new entertaining free-for-all. Truth, facts, credibility, you'll find none of that here on The Noose. I'm BBC.
And I'm Adriana. Wow. But you know what? You won't find any of those things in many of Singapore's newspapers either.
Exactly. If you've been to a coffee shop near you recently, you would have realised that a good number of people serving you there aren't Singaporeans. Jacques finds out how that's making it both a boon and a bane for some locals.
You could say that it is the heart and soul of Singapore, a place where people meet, eat, drink, gossip, and watch the world go by. The humble neighborhood coffee shop. But going to a local coffee shop or fast food eatery these days is more than just a culinary experience. It can also be a linguistic adventure.
喂，老板，喝什么 ？Coke。什么是 Coke？Coke。Coca-Cola。哎，可口可乐是吧？哎，早说嘛，操！哎，可口可乐。
Businesses trying to keep their operating costs down have resorted to hiring cheaper foreign workers to do the jobs that Singaporeans don't want to do. In many heartland eateries and coffee shops these days, you're more likely to be served by workers from China, Myanmar, and the Philippines. While there's nothing wrong with that for most, being served by a foreigner can be a bit frustrating for some.
Yeah, I've been coming to this coffee shop for many years already. Back then, they had a Singaporean guy, good guy, he speaks English, serves me my kaya and toast. I get what I want, no problems. Once in a while, we sit down, we chat about the morning news and all. Then they went and replaced him with one auntie, speaks Hokkien and a bit of Malay, not so bad. I understand Malay, okay, I still get my food. Last week, they brought in this guy from Kazakhstan, they say. Yo, I order my kopi C ice siu tai. The fella bring me kopi C, 1 bucket of ice, and a plate of shumai.
Language is increasingly becoming a barrier to improving service standards in Singapore. While skilled workers in the service industry are required by law to take an English language proficiency test, servers in neighborhood coffee shops and eateries are not. And that has resulted in difficulties for both the workers and patrons. But not everyone is unhappy with the situation.
You guys want to interview me again. Why is this again? News, right? If you guys keep asking me for these quotable quotes, I will have to start charging you, because time is money. Anyway, my opinion on this is that I personally feel that it's not such a bad thing to have these foreign workers around. Let me tell you why, okay? Let me introduce to you my Chinese national friend. Xiao Zheng.
Hey, 吴大妈。
你可以讲 to the camera something, okay?
好，行，没问题。新加坡的朋友大家好，我名叫小郑，从北京来的。新加坡的女孩子，我还是单身的。
Okay, that's enough.
不讲了。
Anyway, every day after school, I will ask my daughter. This is my youngest daughter. She's from RJC, previously from RGS. Every day after school, I'll get her to come here to do her homework, and Xiao Zheng here will oversee her homework for a couple of dollars. Huh? Xiao Zheng, for you. You're welcome. This way, my daughter can improve her mother tongue. Huh? It's funny, I don't know why they call it mother tongue, because her mother can't even speak Mandarin. All right, I have to get back to my stops. Thank you.
你怎么那么笨呢？不读了，来我家玩耍啊，跟上一次一样。
Well, it seems that every dark cloud does indeed have a silver lining. This is Jack S3 reporting for the news.
Crude, unrefined, embarrassing. No, don't look at your teenage children.
And no, we're not talking about her either. We're talking about Singlish. Love it or hate it, the much vilified mode of communication has been banned by the authorities effective immediately. And that's left an entire nation tongue-tied, Nita Goodwood reports.
I'm not unrefined.
How about embarrassing?
Madam Cho See Me never made it to secondary school. Growing up in the pre-independence era, her family could not afford to send her to school beyond primary 6. Her mastery of languages was limited to a mix of Hokkien, Pasa Malay and a smattering of English words, courtesy of expat soldiers who used to frequent her family-run provision shop. Over the years, that mix of languages came to be known as Singlish, and Madam Go was finally an expert in something. But since the ban of Singlish this morning, her life has been a mere shell of its former self. Last time,
Madam Cho, that one Singlish cannot.
like that
Madam Go, Singlish cannot.
Then how?
Cannot.
不要拍我了啦，我不会啦，不要 interview 了啦，不要 interview 了啦。Like Madam Cho, hundreds of thousands of Singaporeans have been left speechless by the ban. Despite growing up on a diet of American and English television shows, for many, Singlish was still the most direct and effective form of communication they have ever known. And given Singapore's multiracial society, it was the easiest way of connecting to those outside their race. Now it appears that besides mastering English and their mother tongues, Singaporeans will also have to learn 2 or more languages to communicate with all 4 of the major races here. Across the island today, many were seen staring emptily into space. When approached, many refused to even utter a single word. They didn't know what or how to say it. But the authorities say that this ban will only serve to improve their standard of living in the long run.
Singapore has been experiencing falling levels of productivity in recent years. One of the chief culprits is our inability to communicate effectively in standard English. Just imagine, if all the hawkers could speak perfect English, more foreigners are likely to patronize their stores. Better business. And if service staff could speak good English, less Singaporeans will waste time writing into the forum pages to complain and will get more work done. Increase productivity.
Because of the ban, language centers have reported a spike in the number of people signing up for classes. But at least one native English speaker feels the ban is ill-conceived and totally unnecessary.
The falling standards of English is not because of Singlish. The problem is not speaking English in the first place. If people continue to speak their mother tongue, be it Mandarin, Malay or Tamil all the time with their friends, colleagues, family, whoever, then they won't improve their English. So this ban is akin to banning chicken rice because it's not a global dish. Time now for a break from all this fiction.
But be sure to join us in 2 as we take a peek into one of Singapore's hairiest treasure troves. How exciting! Welcome back to the news.
Singapore today is one of the most globalized cities in the world, attracting talent from all over to work and live here.
But not so long ago, foreign males coming here with hair as glorious as mine would have gotten a rude shock at our checkpoints. Here's Andre Cicek with this fascinating story.
Tucked away in a quiet corner of the Ministry of Culture is a room which has been locked and sealed off for almost 3 decades. Many people working here are not even aware that this room exists. But officials who have been here since the 1970s know that inside these cabinets are some of rock and roll's weirdest mementos. The Noose had a rare peek into its contents.
All the hair that you see here are actually from the rock bands who visited Singapore back in the 1970s. As you may or you may not know, back then we had a very strict policy against males sporting long hair because we associate long hair with counter-culture movement. So we asked all foreign males to either cut their hair or to be turned back at the airport.
Yes, Singapore, once home to pigtailed, opium-smoking coolies and ponytailed British military officers, decided that men with long hair was not congruent with Singapore's conservative ways in the 1970s.
I didn't even know that there was a law that existed like that.
No idea about that, sir.
I've heard of that.
Weren't there people with long hair back then?
Come on, rock is supposed to have long hair. You play all the guitar, you shout there, you crazy, you run around like go on haywire kind of people. It's like the long hair. It's the identity of all the rocks.
The power is in the hand. They say no means no. What can you do?
Which is quite ridiculous. Olden Chinese, they have long hair. They tie all behind their backs. So it doesn't make sense.
Well, I'm the law-abiding citizen, so I'll probably cut my hair.
I might as well run away from the country.
Come on, it's just hair. It's like hair. Yeah, hair and hair.
Many rock and roll bands decided that they would not cut their hair because of artistic integrity. But some bands just could not bear to disappoint their fans here.
These are the locks from a group called Black Sabbath. Yeah. And we also have an entire collection from Rolling Stone, White Snake, Scorpion. This man is from a group called Deep Purple. And this one from Deep Throat.
Deep what?
Deep Throat.
Okay, never mind. What about the Beatles? Were they exempt from this policy as well?
No. We don't care whether they are the Beatles or Grasshoppers. We ask them to either potong or pigi dah.
Oh, okay. Was this your idea, to have them cut their hair and keep them here?
No. This idea came from a guy called Harry. Rock maintain, brother!
Rock maintain. This is Andre Cicek, The Noose. Rock on.
Productivity has been one of the biggest buzzwords of the year, with the government calling on all Singaporeans to work harder, longer, and well, without complaining too much. But that's easier said than done, as Nita Goodwood finds out more. They say that the best things always come in twos. 2 feet, 2 hands. And now the Ministry of Manpower is suggesting that productivity will increase if every Singaporean does 2 jobs instead of the customary one. For years, Ahwat has been a hawker selling noodles in this Jurong hawker centre. Mr. Huat's takings has allowed him to own 2 condos, a couple of Lexus, and sent his 6 children to Harvard. But the authorities believe that Mr. Huat's productivity can be increased if he were to do 2 jobs instead of just 1.
Singaporeans have been led to believe that there are only 8 hours a day to work. That is incorrect, because according to intensive research, it has shown that there are actually 24 hours to work. So if we are to harness those extra hours, then Singaporeans can actually hold 2 jobs.
Critics, however, argue that the ministry has got their facts wrong. Doing 2 jobs do not mean doing the second job after doing the first job, but doing the second job while still doing the first job, assuming you have a job in the first place. So, Mr. Man, do you see yourself taking on a second job as well?
Actually, this 1 person, 2 job scenario is not new. Small businesses like Ahwat are already doing it. He cook, he serve,
he collect money. In a bigger establishment, they will try to fill all the positions. That means cook, waiter, and cashier. So that is 3 people for 3 jobs. So Ah Huat is a living example of 1 person, 3 jobs. It's people like him that the ministry want employees to emulate.
Thank you so much, Mr. Man. Well, as you can see, soon other companies will be adopting this 1 man, 2 jobs policy. Speaking of which, I am now late for my second job, giving English classes to Rislo, Hua Chu Kang, and Channel News Asia news readers. This is Nina Goodwood reporting for The News.
All right, it's now time for We Are Singaporeans.
What is the national language of Singapore?
English.
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 Malay. Yeah.
Malay. Bahasa Melayu. Malay.
That's right.
Malay.
English? Malay. Malay. Oh, Malay. Yeah, that's right. Malay.
Malay.
English?
Malay.
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 Very multiracial.
Singlish.
Name the world famous cocktail that was created at the Raffles Hotel.
No idea. I don't drink cocktail. I don't know.
Yeah.
Singapore sling.
That's right.
The only Singapore drink is like Singapore sling, isn't it?
Singapore
sling. Singapore ling. Singapore sling, is it? Yeah, ling.
Singapore sling. Yeah.
Wrestling. Singapore sling.
Right. Okay.
I'm not sure about that. I don't drink much.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Raffles Hotel.
Raffles Hotel code.
Okay, can you say that for me? Ice kacang. Say again.
No.
Time now for another teeny-weeny short break.
But stay tuned to find out how a talk show got much more than it bargained for in a brainstorm. Welcome back to the Noose.
I'm Adriana, wow, and he's just plain ugly. Speaking of ugly, a weekly brainstorming session for a local talk show got so heated that it ended up spawning a brand new television series. Isn't that amazing? On the back of the success of its latest talk show offering, Singapore Talking, Mediacorp has announced that it will produce a new series called Singapore Fighting. Singapore Fighting was born after the producers for Singapore Talking could not agree on the next topic of discussion and came to blows in the brainstorm room.
I want to know which idiot came up with that question.
Stephen came up with the idea.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's not a relevant question.
You know what?
But what I'm saying is,
what?
I think it's actually quite a good idea. I think it's actually quite relevant.
All the mothers, all the teenagers,
why do we still need
and all the
Father's
mothers
Day?
won't get to
Right.
talk.
No,
And then we'll have more people
Father's Day.
complaining. Now give it away,
What?
give it
I
away.
think you should just sit
Stop
down. Sit down.
pushing me.
I'm not there. Just sit
No,
down.
don't touch me.
Sit down.
You have to touch me.
Sit down.
Give it away. Fight. Yeah, do it.
Who are you? Who are you? Get out!
Don't come and disturb me.
I've got a weapon!
You know, I don't understand this. We locked ourselves in the room for 5 hours talking about what topic to talk about next for Singapore Talking, and we can't agree on anything. What's the point of all this, man? You know, one snide remark leads to another snide remark. Before you know it, it's like WWE's Royal Rumble, free for all. And then suddenly it dawned on us. Sometimes there's no point talking at all. All you really need is a good punch up. Woohoo!
He's getting up! Punch him! No stupid concept! Singapore Fighting will debut on Channel 5 on August 9th.
Welcome to the first episode of Singapore Fighting. Today we're discussing the future of Singapore.
Warring parties who have not been able to settle their differences through mediation. On the show, they will reveal the reasons for their bad blood and then be pitted against each other in a no-holds-barred, bare-knuckles fight, which will be staged outside a wet market every Sunday morning.
According to the recent survey done by Market Research Willie and Nelson, it has clearly shown that on any given Sunday morning, there will be more people in the neighborhood wet market than those watching Channel 5. So having this show in the neighborhood wet market will give us that ready audience. And what's more, we are also in discussion with Singapore Pools to offer on-the-spot odds for fights. This should bring the Channel 8 audience over too. That's great, isn't it? So, we believe that this will be an instant knockout show. We believe in it so much. Do you? I think you should. You spend a lot of money, you know.
The news understands that so far, the warring Everett Road neighbours, the past and present exco of Aware, and several political parties have already thrown their hat into the ring. Singapore, let's get ready to rumble. And this is Nina Good reporting for the news. Adriana Wow, here I come.
Before we round up this edition of the news, here's a quick weather update. And this report was sent in by regular news viewer Barbarella something.
Hola, senor and senorita. Hello, everybody. My name is Barbarella Penelope Cruz. That's right. Do you like my new Spanish name? Very nice, right? Nowadays, I'm loving everything Spanish. Okay, basically, I feel that Spanish words have a really nice ring to it. You know, like tequila, paella, and Barbarella. That's right. Oh, this is the weather report. Sorry. Yeah, so the weather tomorrow will be like warm and sunny, yeah, just like in Spain. But we won't be going to Sentosa to play beach volleyball anymore because my Spanish boyfriend Antonio says that, you know, now that the IRs have opened, you know, it's becoming very crowded. So we're just gonna stay at home because Antonio likes it Juan on Juan. Very funny, right? Oh, also, later part of the week, I hear that there will be many thunderstorms in many parts of the island, like Jurong East, Jurong West, and Taman Jurong. That's all for the weather reports. This is Barbarella Penelope Cruz signing off. Adios, everybody. Gracias. Thanks. Oh, that Barbarella, she's such an attention seeker. I can't take it.
And while she deals with the demons in her head, I'd like to thank you once again for joining us on the news.
Please log on to our website for more news updates and the application forms for Singapore Fighting. Good night and bye-bye.
Good night. Ta-ta.